What you just watched was a compilation of videos I share among my friends, aptly named Goku, Goku Part 2, and Goku Part 3. While it is funny and a purposely terrible edit, most of you will notice the way I fly, and I'm sure many of you want to replicate it. I mean, look how effective it was against the last dude. This guide, along with a few others, will serve as the catalyst for anyone watching to reach their potential. I can't guarantee you'll manage to pull off something like in the video, but I can 100% promise you'll find more success in FLIER combat after having watched the series. I do hope that after having seen the intro and possibly the rest of my videos, you can find some credibility in what I'm saying. Enough so that you take the time to watch however many guides I make if you're interested in becoming better at creatures of Sonaria. It's no secret that the game isn't exactly the most mechanically intensive, depending on what you play, but FLIERs are about as close as one can get to what I would call skill expression. Anyways, I don't want to take up all your time with me rambling about stuff when you could be learning to become better than even I am. Initially, I had anticipated making a collective guide to FLIER combat, and, well, the script was over 2,000 words, although I was only about a third of the way through writing everything I had to offer. Instead, I'd like to make the content more digestible and easily accessible through splitting key portions into separate videos. As they say, egotism is the anesthetic that dulls the pain of stupidity. I'm not going to take the claim at being the best, but I do think I can provide useful information. Plus, it deviates slightly from the KOSing content I've been doing. This video in particular is going to be about picking your FLIER and will later touch on optimizing said FLIER. As my initial hypothesis, I believe that FLIERs within the range of 35 to 45 fly speed are traditionally the most versatile and allow for the most skill expression. Think Funtaris to Ares, for example. They fit this description quite well. To preface, this doesn't mean that FLIERs who don't fall into this category perform poorly, just that from experience, they aren't quite as well-rounded. Outliers such as Aelinus and Leviné can have just as much success as Funtaris or Ares. It's also worth mentioning that FLIERs are capable, even if yours isn't listed in this video. Like I said earlier, FLIERs have the most skill expression. Even if what you enjoy playing isn't the most fantastic stat-wise, I know that these guides, even if not this one in particular, can enhance your experience. For those of you who are only here for a list of FLIERs I'd suggest, I'll give a rundown of my top 10. In no particular order, I would recommend Galiron, Ares, Funtaris, Oratum, Valmora, Angelic Warden, Anutil, Felicio, Venetrox, and Irza. This list won't work for everyone, but gives a solid few FLIERs for each and every one to try, many of which aren't terribly expensive to get a spec of. Moving on, there are many playstyles of FLIERs, and each excel at particular strategies, some more in-depth than others. Starting with pure damage, we have FLIERs like Arcalium, Aelinus, Angelic Warden, Iridia, Konomushi, Novus Warden, Parahexilian, Silvasquall, Umbraxi, Venetrox, Valmora, and Nakamaska somewhat. Now, some of these shine brighter in the big numbers department than others, but I have experience with them all and I have felt myself doing high damage while playing. In a different boat, Affliction-based playstyles where you give your opponents lots of debuffs are also viable. There are notable FLIERs such as Colville, Cuxina, Ghibli, Irza, Leviné, Konomushi, Noxla Lune, Oestryrus, and Quetzalcoatl. This isn't to say these FLIERs cannot be played like the ones listed for damage, but you will generally have more success being able to play with the effects you give your opponent. Again, some are better than others, but on a conceptual level, they tend to benefit greatly from the effects they give. I won't be discussing how to best utilize particular groups of FLIERs in this video, but I will be in the next. Affliction play has a sort of art to it, and I'll definitely be teaching what makes them so deadly despite their lower damage. I would say play lame, win game, but that doesn't fully encapsulate when and why you should be doing certain things. Also, my list of debuff appliers may not be the most objective, but I guarantee they do their job well enough that the opponent feels their resources being drained. Although I lack experience regarding this category, ankle biters are both beloved and loathed. If I was to suggest a particular group of ankle biters, Olatua, Articock, Bizu, Uvis, Karuku, Maluna, Criffin, Flixlet, and Veldis. These guys are generally annoying and have either defensive measures or high fly speed to keep themselves out of danger. Their kill potential is subpar, however, and you won't likely be seeing kill confirmed on your screen terribly often. Seeing people complain in chat, however, far more common. To restate, I don't have much experience in ankle biting. It just doesn't suit me. That isn't to say that it's not for you. I just find myself having more fun seeing that kill count grow in stats. Concerning my lack of experience, this is where I think my knowledge falls off the most. That, and traditionally, I think ankle biters tend to be the likes of Manawi, which fortunately cannot fly. For the health enjoyers out there, I felt I had the most survivability with the likes of Saukarin, Feriocris, Athalith, Dalgara, Haechionx, Olatua, Fantaris, Oratum, and Ura. This isn't to say all these picks have a massive health stat, but have some measure to keep their opponent wondering why they haven't died yet. I've also tried to keep the list as one without many compromises, as we don't want to pick something with thousands of HP but absolutely nothing in any other regard. This list is also traditionally smaller than others because flyers are naturally lighter and less tank oriented. I will note that whenever I play healthy flyers, I do focus on my health regeneration more than most. I don't purely look at it as bigger is better. Bigger just tends to mean that you get more raw HP back after the 15 seconds you have to wait. Do think of this list as a more nuanced one rather than just, haha, I have large HP bar, throws all cognitive function out the window and sits on my opponent mindlessly. This is for flyers after all. I could speak on flyers with notable abilities that are either generally useful or shine particularly well with its kit, but I feel it'd be much more effective to just tell you all what abilities are quote unquote busted. For passive abilities that I notice the most difference having, Keen Observer, Block Bleed 50% plus, Quick Recovery, Diver/Agile Swimmer, Burst Strike, Sticky Fur, Guilt, Defensive Paralyze/Freeze, and Block Poison 100%/Unbreakable. All of these have a particular reason they make fights infinitely easier or allow you much more versatility in said fights. Active ability wise, I'd have to say the best are Fortify, Breath Heal, Poison Area, Reflect, Breath Crystal, Dazzling Flash, Snow Shield, Invisibility, Shock Area, Breath Lightning, Sticky Trap, Warden's Rage, Grab, Harden, and Thorn Trap. Like in the previous list, these provide a niche in fights. Depending on which category of flyer you like, active and passive abilities can quite literally make or break the usability of said flyer. If there's any ability I didn't list in either type, feel free to comment below your thoughts and why it should have been present. Although this next list is entirely subjective and even changes in effectiveness between different species, I'd have to say my favorite order of effects is Burn, Necropoison, Frostbite, Bleed, Poison, Injury, Corrosion, and finally Disease. Again, this list can be extremely interchangeable. I would put Poison and Bleed much higher if one were to suggest Oestryrus, considering how they pair very well together. Unfortunately, I can't go over all the circumstances where these change, and can only give a general thesis on the solo versatility of each. I hope this can serve as a welcome base to what flyers you can pick and enjoy. That said, I'm certain this specific part will be the least useful to those of you who aren't newer to the game. In later videos, you can expect me to talk more about how to use flyers to their fullest capacity, flying techniques that give you an edge, and even some fun guides on how to fly upside down and backwards. There's a lot to go over, and as stated earlier, I feel it would be wise to make these videos more digestible to my audience. If any of the information in this video was useful or informative, like the video. And if you want to learn more on how to become more versed in flyer combat, subscribe. As always, bye for now.